Power rankings time. I'm trying to think of a segue, but couldn't. So let's just get to the power rankings, and let's unveil what we have this week. They're incomplete because Week 12 isn't over yet. The Steelers still at number 1. You can't drop if you don't lose. You can't lose if you don't play. So congratulations, Steelers. You're holding off the Chiefs because you're still undefeated, and we'll see if they hold that. I will adjust these after tonight's game. And if the Steelers lose, they will not be number 1, period. Although I don't think they'll lose. Chris, you think there's a chance they will. Your first reaction, let's just focus on the top 10 as we always do. Your first thought when you saw those.
Well, I mean, I got no big issue that I look at right there. I mean, the top 4 I think is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, maybe you could switch the Bills and the Packers. Okay, I mean, if I was going to be picky there, I'd probably do that. I'd probably take Green Bay in that matchup, but I mean, I understand you going there. I do. Then one that's tricky to me is like the Dolphins at 9. I'm just still not sure about them. Like, I look at the Dolphins at 9, and I was surprised that, I don't know, that you got them ahead of the Browns right now. Just with the way the Dolphins have looked the last 2 weeks, and I know they won and all that, but the Browns are playing pretty good football, and I don't know about Tua or Fitz or where the hell that's going. But I have no major issues with your top 10 other than that. I think it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I worry about the Dolphins without Tua, and I have a feeling, I don't know this, but I have a feeling that thumb injury is more than just he'll be fine in a week type of a thing. And with Brian Fitzpatrick, it's one thing to beat the Jets. It's another thing to face a tougher opponent. So we'll see if they can continue to stay in the top 10. The team that just intrigues me the most this year is the Colts. We dropped them 4 down to number 10 after they lost, not a close game to the Titans. They lost convincingly.
They were dominated.
To the Titans.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this team is. And I almost put the Browns – I should have put the Browns ahead of the Colts. I should have. The Browns beat the Colts, and the Browns have a better record. What was I thinking?
I don't know either.
What's wrong with me?
That's where
the Browns should be number 10.
Right. I would have said that I probably would have made the Browns 9, and you could have made the Dolphins 10 and the Colts 11. That's what I said. That's when I first saw it, and I know we're going to have to talk about it. That was the first thing that jumped out to me, and I know you're kind of a believer in Cleveland a little bit and everything there and Stefanski and what they're doing. So I was just surprised from that aspect, the personal aspect, and they played pretty damn good football lately. So I'm with you. What about the Titans at 7, right? I mean, they're coming off 2 really impressive wins. They've seemed to got their crap together here and are starting to round into the team we thought they might be. You know, did you have any thought of maybe putting them in front of the Packers and the Seahawks and making that move?
No, because I feel like they're still just kind of look, the Packers and Seahawks both won.
Yeah.
So it's tough to start leapfrogging. And yes, it was an impressive win. You could say the Seahawks, I mean, they only won by 6, but it was a garbage time touchdown. I guess I want to see the Titans show me a little more consistency. And I think I had trepidation with them for the same reason I had trepidation with the Browns. I want to see what happens this weekend when those two teams get together. Remember last year, when everyone was thinking Browns, Super Bowl run, here we go, and the Titans beat them down. It was an upset, although I said for months, the Titans are going to beat them week 1. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. And I assume the Titans are going to beat them again, but I don't know. I mean, this is the chance for the Browns to get everyone's attention and show that they're not this team that's in that weird formula of win the games you're supposed to win, lose the games you're supposed to lose. This is a game they're supposed to lose. So I want to wait and see what both teams do this weekend before I make a push up for the Titans or for the Browns, or a push down for the Browns. I didn't want, put the Browns in the top 10, and then they get shellacked this weekend. Why the hell were they in the top 10? So it was enough for me. I'm looking at it now. It was enough for me to put them past the Ravens and the Bucks. That I didn't even think that, hey, you're this far, you may as well go ahead and jump the Colts too, and maybe jump the Dolphins.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. We'll forgive you. And, the fact that Week 12's not over, you can just release some new power rankings tomorrow and make that adjustment. It's no problem. All right, if the Steelers lose tonight, will they go any farther down the list than 2? Would you think about moving them to a 3 behind the Chiefs and the Saints? I mean, is there any way or scenario?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes, because the Saints have won 8 in a row.
Yeah.
The Saints have won 8 in a row. So just because the Steelers would have There's just the perfect record. When you still have a perfect record this late in the season, you're the number one team in the NFL. Like I said, this isn't Troy State going undefeated and still being behind a 2-loss Alabama team. This is the NFL. This is two conferences, but they're of equal significance.
Yes, right.
You're undefeated, you're number one. But once you lose, all bets are off. And you have a 1-game losing streak, and there's a team that's got an 8-game winning streak. So I think that if they lose, they will fall to number 3. I don't think they'll lose, but if they do, they'll fall to number 3.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's break down. You want to move on from the top 10?
Let's do this. We've got our questions here. Let's answer some questions. Derek Rudolph via Twitter has this question. Buffalo's defense and run game is steadily improving week after week. What are they doing differently, Chris, on both sides of the ball to improve?
Yeah, well, I think health on the defensive side of the ball has helped them a little bit. Having more health in the secondary, the defensive line, the linebackers have gotten a little healthy. So I feel like they're doing more on the defensive side of the ball. That's what I would say more than anything, where it's more creative. It was very vanilla early on in the year, and I feel like teams kind of cracked their code a few times. Now I see them lining up in different disguises, disguising coverages, more movement that way, and I think that's causing some issues for some offenses. And then, the Bills' offense itself, that's what's encouraging about last week. I expected them to throw the ball in the Chargers. They didn't. They won the game with their defense and their run game for the most part. And then Josh Allen made a few plays and managed the game pretty well, other than one stupid interception. So their offense, I think they realized too, hey, we can't just think Josh Allen's going to throw for 380 and 4 touchdowns every week, and we're going to win that way. We got to have a little balance, a little versatility in our attack. And Singletary, Moss, they're both healthy at running back, and they seem to have gotten something going. I don't think it's anything like dramatically, schematically different on offense, other than they've just tried to put more effort into running the ball really ever since that Chiefs game, and they've gotten a little bit better since then.
Rams had climbed to number 5 after beating the Buccaneers in prime time. The loss at home to the 49ers, completion of the sweep by San Francisco. They fall down to number 8. Is Jared Goff truly their biggest weakness right now?
Well, for my money, yes, he's he's up there. He is. I mean, that wasn't good football. I don't know any other way to say it. It's the same old thing we always say about Jared Goff. And not to say, we know you can win football games, but we've seen like 9 out of 10 times that when they can't run and McVay screens and all these McVay specials don't work, Jared Goff is below average when it comes to becoming a drop-back, pocket, get on my team, get on my back franchise quarterback. I don't know any other way to say it. It's below average NFL throwing of the football. It's below average movement in the pocket and extending plays. And it's just average decision-making. So that game, I mean, again, after watching that back yesterday, I can understand why Sean McVay had a 7-paragraph answer about, benching Jared Goff the other day, because his brain probably broke going like, what the hell is he doing with some of these plays and some of these things he's doing? He's an issue that way. But more times than not, McVay and the way they play doesn't put him on that pedestal to where he has to be that guy. And that's what they just have to continue to work on, him getting a little bit better and McVay finding more tricks for his offense to kind of help him out.
I also think the Rams are having an identity crisis with their running game. Sean McVay so badly wants to have the interchangeable parts running attack that the 49ers have. And I think Sean McVay and the Rams feeling stung by the Todd Gurley situation. You put so much effort, so much money, so much emphasis into Todd Gurley being the guy. And then when he's not the guy, what happens? Your running game falls apart. But they're not really committing to this shared job, revolving door. They just need to make one guy their guy. The Rams have a long history of great running backs. I remember Lawrence McCutcheon back in the 70s. They had Eric Dickerson. They had Marshall Faulk. They had Todd Gurley. I just think that it feels like he's trying to force this job-sharing arrangement onto the running game when for most teams, you just need to develop one guy. And he's got a backup who knows his role. he knows his role. He's going to come in to give the guy a breather once in a while, or if he gets banged up a little bit, you're the guy next man up. But this hey, we want to develop this diverse running attack with Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown. It's not working.
It's understandable,
and I think
Mike.
maybe they'd be better off if they just channeled it into one guy. Pick the guy that's your guy and build your offense around him, because I feel like they don't have an identity. I feel like their identity is short pass to Robert Woods. That's their identity.
Yeah, right. I mean, it is in a lot of ways. Short pass to Robert Woods, short pass to Cooper Kupp, speed sweep to Robert Woods, inside zone, bootleg. That's really what it is. You broke it down pretty damn good. And, Mike, I understand what you're saying. Running backs, they need to get in a rhythm as a runner too and those type of things. And, yeah, I'm with you, and I don't think their offense sets up for running back by committee anyways. I agree with you there. McVay's offense, it's simple. He has a formula in which he uses that's very simple, and he understands how to use that. Oh, wait, you're stopping this. Okay, now I go to this. Oh, right, now you've adjusted to this. I can go back to this and that. But it's simple. I mean, we've talked about it. It's run, it's speed sweep. It's fake the speed sweep, fake the run, screen, fake the speed sweep, fake the run, play action pass, fake the speed sweep, fake the run, bootleg. That's what it is. I mean, that's his whole offense. So you don't need running back by committee. When you talk about teams that do running back by committee, right? Shanahan, the Patriots, the Saints a little bit. I know it's just two guys there, but they have roles within certain running schemes. And that's, to me, where it's different. McVay and that offense, it's the same. It's inside, outside zone almost every run play. They don't pull guards. They don't do man-to-man run blocking. Shanahan has running backs where he goes, ooh, I like Raheem Mostert on outside zone. Ooh, I like Tevin Coleman when the backside guard pulls, and now he's got to So he has different roles and how they fit that way, and that's why it works for them. The Patriots, right? Hey, it's, James White, when we're in the spread, we might hand him the ball, and then we get in a powered condensed, formation. It's Harris up the middle. That's where it's a little different, and, I'm with you. I think you should try to ride one in that offense and just have a guy come in and spell the guy from time to time.
I think Kyle Shanahan is so deep into his head that he felt like he tried to emulate Kyle Shanahan, and that's just not working. Be who you are. Don't try to be anyone else just because someone else happens to be beating you more often than not. Question about the Browns, and this causes me to feel a little bit better about not putting them any higher than I did. Andy Mack, too. Theoretically, I understand the Browns at 11 because of their record, but honestly, could they beat the Ravens, Bucks, and Cardinals? Each of those three teams are behind the Browns. He had a hard time justifying getting the Browns to 11. I never considered, maybe they should go even higher. And if I had, maybe I would have dropped them a little bit lower. I'm really stuck right now with the Browns because you can't deny 8-3.
No.
There aren't many 8-win teams right now, but they've got 8 wins. And this kind of reminds me of the 99 Rams. When you look back at the Rams' schedule that year, they had a lot of easy games. And I know that Rodney Harrison would say there are no easy games in the NFL, but there are degrees of difficulty.
Yeah, there is.
And sometimes you just get blessed with a schedule where check the box, check the box, check the box. We got 8 wins now. So I really don't know where the Browns fit, because I don't believe in the Browns when it's time to play one of the better teams in the NFL, because we've seen time and again, they don't just lose, they get blown out by some of those teams.
You're right. Well, I mean, really, the Colts game's the only game we look at and go, oh, that was a quality team that they beat. They're a team that's, solid defense but nothing special, and it's like a little bit like your Minnesota Vikings, where everything's predicated on the run game. And if that doesn't work, right, where it didn't have huge success in those losses, the pass offense and things is limited. It is. It's why I was never a huge fan of the Stefanski offense. It's all about that run game, and that's fine, and that's worked well. I get that. But, yeah, I think that's the big question about the Cleveland Browns. It certainly is. And just how good of a quality of a football team are they? I don't know. But the way they've played this year, you look at the Giants and Jets and you think, hey, Cleveland's better than them. They'll win those 2 games, and that gives them 10 wins no matter what they do with the other 3 games against the Titans, Ravens, and Steelers. So that is the big question. The big question is going to be just like we talk about with some of these other run-heavy teams, a little bit like the Rams. Baker Mayfield's more talented than Jared Goff, in my opinion. There's no doubt about that. But if they can't run the football, can Baker Mayfield and that pass game schematically beat football teams? I think that's still a question that we haven't solved yet in this NFL season.
And I'm glad you compared them to the Vikings, because Mayfield is just like Cousins in the respect of when the play that's called works, he's fine. When the play that's called falls apart, he's not among that handful of guys who can make chicken salad on the fly.
Yeah.
It all falls apart. And Mayfield's elusiveness and athleticism isn't the same as the quarterbacks who can recognize, oh, crap, that's not going to work. I better come up with something else. Cousins is like Mayfield in that regard, and wouldn't it be amazing if this team gets to the playoffs and there's a decision made after the season or after 2021? Maybe they become a perennial playoff team, but they're bumping their head against a ceiling because they don't have a quarterback who can win the game for them when the running game isn't there, and that they would decide at a time when they're successful to get a different quarterback. That it's odd to think of that question as it relates to the Browns, because they've been spinning in the mud looking for quarterbacks all these years because they've been bad. The idea that the Browns are good but not good enough, and what's holding them back could be their quarterback, and maybe they don't sign Baker Mayfield to a second contract. One of these days, one of these teams is going to say, we're not giving you a $30 million a year deal,
right?
Just because the team is good,
right?
Just because you're not a bust.
Agreed.
We're not giving you that kind of money.
Agreed.
It's going to happen at some point, and I'm sure the Eagles wish they had done it with Carson Wentz, and I'm sure the Rams wish they had done it with Jared Goff, and our other team's going to learn from that experience.
I don't know, Mike. I think it's coming, though. I think you're going to see it because of like we've talked about it a lot lately with all the influx of quarterbacks coming in the league, all the success we've seen teams have with these rookie quarterback contracts, all those type of things. I don't think it's going to be like, hey, move on, but I think there could be a point in time where they just go like, let's just take Baker Mayfield because we're talking about it, and go, no, we're not paying you $32 million. We believe the offense, runs through the run game. We like you. You're good. You can be our starter, but here's $24 million or $22 million. And do you want to go out in free agency and try to start and make a niche with a new team and do all that? Fine. Go ahead. See how it works. We kind of have a good thing going here right now, and you're an important part of it. We want you here, but we're not going to ruin the team to make you be here. That's where, to me, we see the Rams and the Eagles, flirted with that a little bit. And I'll say this, too, with Baker Mayfield to defend him. Hey, the way they play, it's not necessarily easy for a quarterback all the time either. Run. Hey, it's great when it's successful, but, oh, wait, coach, this series we ran twice, and it's 3rd and 11. And now I haven't gotten to throw the ball, and you want me to make the biggest throw of the day right here. And that can be hard. I'm not giving up on Baker Mayfield. I'm not. And, Mike, I think he can work. He can be a guy that I think if the run game doesn't work, I think he has the potential to be a thrower and still help the team win and carry the team that way. To me, the offense needs to grow there in that area too. I'm not just blaming him. I think it's a Stefanski drop back pass conversation to go along with that. But either way, the Browns are winning football games, and they seem to be getting better. And there's some belief there, and they're real. They're a force to be reckoned with that run game. That's for sure.
I look forward to the day that a team says to a starting quarterback who otherwise has not been a bust, we're just not doing it. And if you want to go out on the open market and try to get more, so be it. It creates a hell of a game of chicken, though, because the team's got to come up with a plan if they're not going to keep the guy. And it could be that they fill the spot before he has a chance to come back and say, I'll take that $24 million a year instead of $32 or $33 million a year. So it could be coming. Bucks at number 13. Mike Ness 18. Is it possible this season for the Bucks to break into the top 5 again? We do these all the way until week 17. They've got 12 games in. They're 7-5. So going into the last week of the season, the week 17 power rankings, the best they would be is 10-5. I don't think that's going to get them into the top 5, Chris.
I would think it's going to be close, definitely. They'd have to. I mean, I don't know. It's your power ranking list, but they'd probably have to win impressively, right? 4 games in a row, really be dominant, and then you'd probably have to see some of these other teams in the top 5 lose another game or two to even have that conversation. The Bills got some tough games, so they could easily lose 2 games and end up be 11-5 or 10-6 if it got worse than that. The Packers, I don't see them falling off much. So there's a chance, but I think it's going to be more about other teams not playing to their potential either. I think the Bucs have top 5 potential as a football team, as we know, but man, it's all over the place the last 4 weeks of the year, and I just don't know really how to gauge them or what to think of them right now.
Yeah, and look, they have 2 weeks to figure their issues out, and for their sake, they need to take full advantage of trying to get everyone on the same page, and maybe it's just not going to happen. Maybe you've got a couple of stubborn guys in Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, and maybe Bruce Arians, to quote the line that we almost fully completed yesterday in relation to Brady, maybe the Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon line applies to Bruce Arians. I'm getting too old for this bleep. And maybe he walks away and says someone else can be Brady's coach next year. Patriots at number 16, back in the top half of the rankings. Rooster 17-12. The Pats at 16, really? I'm a Patriots fan, and that's too high. I mean, come on, it's the Patriots. They beat the Cardinals. They beat the Ravens. Yeah, it didn't work out against the Texans, but Chris, they're still hanging around. They're hanging around, and you don't want them in the postseason if you're the Steelers or the Chiefs or one of the other good teams in the AFC.
Yeah, it's like, fans, hey, there's no beauty points here. There's no beauty points. They've won, 3 out of the last 4, and we're putting themselves in position to at least tie the game in that one they lost, if not win it. So yeah, it's not pretty. It's as ugly as it gets every week. It's like watching 1964 football again, but I kind of like it. I do. And everybody's got to stop getting over like, hey, this record's this, so we should be able to beat these teams. It's a matchup league. And yeah, the Patriots at 16, I'll say this. I probably would have had the 49ers a spot ahead of them. All right, I'll just say that. But there's teams like you've just said. The Cardinals versus the Patriots, I mean, we just saw what happened. The Vikings play the Patriots. I think I'm going to take the Patriots. We saw the Patriots beat the Ravens, who are number 12 on your list. The Browns, who we just talked about, they play the Patriots. I don't know about that. That'd be interesting. So the Patriots have beat the Dolphins, who are at number 9. So this and the Bills, who were 4, they were toe-to-toe with them. I don't think it's totally crazy where you have them. I don't. It's just never going to look pretty or sexy, and I just think people got to kind of just come to terms with that reality.
Hot Blog Sports on the 49ers at 17. If Jimmy G and George Kittle come back healthy soon, what do you think the chances are that the 49ers make it into the playoffs? And it's amazing what one game can do to change a team's perception. But completing the sweep of the Rams, here they are at 5-6. Here they are getting guys back. Wait, George Kittle may be back. Jimmy G may be back. I'm telling you. And what a difference to be the 1 seed one year, possibly the 7th seed the next year, and be as dangerous, if not more dangerous, in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it is unbelievable. I mean, it's Kyle Shanahan, his coaching, Robert Saleh on the defensive side of the ball. We talked about it, all the things they've done to their roster, the players they've accumulated. I mean, they're a team that I go, watch out. I mean, if they get in the playoffs, like you said earlier, you don't want to see them coming to town not with that run game and Debo Samuel and Ayuk and some of those defensive linemen and company they got to play. But, man, they got a tough stretch. I mean, they got still tough games on the schedule. So, yeah, I love their prospects when Jimmy G and Kittle get back. They can be really dangerous. We know that. But Buffalo, Arizona, Seattle, those are toss-up games right now. You can't sit here and say, I feel good about the 49ers winning them. Yeah, I mean, they're looking like they're playing better football than the Arizona Cardinals right now, definitely. But nothing's a lock as far as those 3 games. And we see Washington with their defense. They might be a pain in the butt for the 49ers as well. What's your gut say? You going to think they're going to make it or not?
I'm looking at my predictions. Oh, my God, they were horrible. Before the season, the 7 teams to make it to the playoffs in the NFC, 49ers 7 seed.
I think that's where I had them too, or somewhere right around there.
I have a feeling they're going to make it. I have a feeling they're getting in. And if you're the Packers, if you're the Saints, if you're who cares? I mean,
the crazy thing with
any of the NFC West teams they could beat.
That's what it comes down to, Mike. I think that's when you look at the standings in the NFC, you just sit there and go, the great thing for them is they need the Rams in Arizona. and they got Arizona on their schedule one more time, and Arizona and the Rams haven't even played each other right yet, so they got 2 games coming up. That could work in their favor. There is a really good chance they could make it just because of that in the NFC West. So we'll see, but I think they're probably going to have to run the table to get it done.
Last point on the way out, the Raiders, who had been at number 14 for 4 straight weeks, they finally moved. Raiders fans, you got your wish. You complained every week. Why aren't we moving? Why aren't we moving? Well, you moved from 14 down to number 19 after getting blown off the field by the Falcons 43-6. At Raiders Simp says, as a Raiders fan, I can't even say anything because, like, WTF happened. And we're still trying to figure out WTF happened with the Las Vegas Raiders when they went to Atlanta last week, and they better get it together or they're going to be on the outside looking in. There are going to be good teams in each conference that don't make it to the playoffs, and they'll only have themselves to blame because for all of those teams that don't get in, they're going to be able to look back, Chris, at 2 or 3 games that they lost that they should have won. And this is a to get blown off the field in a game they should have won. Unbelievable, unforgivable, and maybe something that disqualifies the Raiders from even making it to the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see playoff teams get dominated or beat like that too often. You don't, and that is concerning. It really is, But they still got a lot of things you like about their football team, and if they can kind of put this back together, hey, this is not over yet either. They just, I don't know what to say. They got beat. They got physically beat up. They got outcoached. Raheem was all over John Gruden's offense, and the Raiders made some stupid mistakes to compound that too. I mean, as poorly as they were playing, there they were late in the second quarter and early third quarter. It was like 13-3, 16-3, and you just kept going, okay, here they'll get it going. And then he threw the pick 6 at 16-3 while they were in field goal position. That made it 23-3. That was game over, and it just got worse from there. They packed it in, and that was not a good look and certainly a little concerning.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.